I'm Mike. He's Byron. He's getting liquored up, and we're gonna review what may be the last ever episode of Lucha Underground.
Correct.
Really enjoyed the show. Everything was pretty damn good. We're gonna start off with what was the low point, which was the cage match between Dragon Azteca Jr. and Matanza Cueto.
Which, if we're honest, I mean that's where you want your low point to be, is the opening of the show.
I've always wanted this. I don't think the first match should be the lowest point. I think the second match, because I think the first match gets you a little bit hyped for the rest of the show. But yeah, there are so few matches on these shows that it's not really feasible.
Well, when I say low point, I mean it should be in retrospect the lowest point. You shouldn't tune into a show and go, "Wow, that was crap," and then kind of
obviously nothing should be crap.
So, I mean, that's, in honesty, if you want your ending to be like an 11 out of 10, you need your opener to be like 5 out of 10. And this one was pretty much 5 out of 10.
I'd give it a little bit more than that. It was a pretty good cage match. You had stereotypical big man, small man stuff. Azteca getting in some, quick fire offense. Well, for the most part, just getting thrown around and actually thrown out of the cage at one point.
Yep.
And Dario, that would be a victory in a cage match normally, but Dario restarts the match, has to end by pinfall or submission. And
I saw, what was it? I can't remember. Was it Cody Rhodes versus Big Show on a pay-per-view once, and he drop-kicked him. It was a tables match, and Big Show was climbing into the ring, and Cody Rhodes drop-kicked him, and Big Show accidentally stepped backwards and stepped off the ring apron and threw a table, so they had to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking funny.
This felt like obviously this one felt like a completely planned spot, because Dario had like the full on speech planned.
Well, see, the thing of it was that at first I wasn't too sure, because Dario sprinted like halfway around the ring to go, what the fuck. But that looked like, if it was unplanned, then they did a masterful job of covering it up. And if it was completely planned, they did a pretty good job of hooking me in. So either way,
very good work.
Yeah.
The big twist of the match, though, is the return of Black Lotus, who comes in and does a crossbody off the top of the cage onto Azteca, who gets pinned. And then she low blows Matanza and gives him a powerbomb. And then gets up in Dario's face and, calls him a liar, wants the truth, and she didn't really think that through, because, Matanza just came back into the play and destroyed her.
Yeah, Matanza knows that you can't handle the truth, and therefore was a merciful god.
Indeed. We didn't see anything at the end of the show about Black Lotus, so...
No.
Interesting. We'll see what happens. Well, we may not. I mean, of course, the weird thing is this is a season finale that might actually be a series finale, but it was definitely set up as a season finale, and we'll talk more about that at the end. But then we go into a 3-way match for the Gauntlet of the Gods. Sami Callihan, a.k.a. Jeremiah Crane, versus Mil Muertes versus Cage.
Yeah, war.
I love this match.
This match got out of hand.
Dario made it an elimination match, which led to us speculating who would win and who would get eliminated first. I was wrong on like all counts. I thought Mil would go at first, and it was Jeremiah Crane who did. But really good, like fast-paced action wrestling wise, mixed with excellent plunder usage and creative plunder usage.
Indeed, they plundered all of the booty. We had
a garbage can. We had all kinds of color. All 3 men bleeding. Let's put it this way, Brian. At one point, Cage was the least bleeding man who had been stabbed in the head with wooden skewers.
Dude, I had a porcupine head there for a bit. It was pretty brutal.
He got DDT'd with one in his head. So,
well, there was only one left after the DDT. I think there were more.
I think they were down to 2 at that point. But yeah,
I have no idea.
But yeah, that's a spot that my hat is off to anyone who just even attempts that. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's dangerous as fuck.
Correct. Yeah. No. I see. So the sequence went. He grabbed a handful of skewers. He kind of held them tight in his hand. which actually it's like laying on a bed of nails. You just want to spread out. Like if you spread out enough surface area, the points don't really, puncture through. He didn't go for that. He went for like a little tight bundle and smacked it into his head like 2-3 times. And then he kicked him through the ropes in the face, and some of them flew off. And then he got between the ropes, and did he give him a pump kick? I think.
Yeah, he gave him a pump kick.
He's fond of the pump kick. More of them flew off, and then he just went right into the DDT, and I'm like, no, oh god. That was dick.
We also had a glass pane spot where Jeremiah Crane goes and grabs a pane of glass when he takes control of the match, and Mil Muertes charges right into it and breaks it, and he's bleeding profusely from his arm.
Yeah.
He ends up on the table, and Cage he goes for what probably was a moonsault. Jeremiah Crane stops him, and that just meant like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to use you as well and superplex both of you through the tables.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good spot. Jeremiah Crane gets eliminated after Weapon X. And eventually Mil Muertes gets the elimination on Cage with... it was a flatliner onto a chair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mil Muertes gets the Gauntlet of Power. Katrina goes over there, takes it, gives it to Mil. Mil hits the... does the little fist down onto the symbol and...
don't forget all the licking.
Yeah, there was licking of Cage as well. Yeah, there was. And the lights go out, and King Cuerno attacks from behind.
Your boy Square Nose is back.
Square Nose is back. So he beats up Mil and Katrina and takes the gauntlet. So, I wonder if Mil and Jeremiah Crane might actually join forces because, he laid his hands on Katrina.
That could be a thing. It could be the enemy of my enemy is my friend sort of scenario.
I would say it's more like we're going to deal with him, then we're going to finish what we started.
Come on, baby, finish what you started.
Then we got a really bad but intentionally bad documentary of Johnny Mundo.
It was fucking funny.
It was... Oh man, Jack Evans is more over with the broken jaw than ever was when he had the ability to talk.
Very correct.
Just fantastic work. If you need a laugh, like you watch the match we just talked about. If you're into just being a bit sick, and then watch this for like some lighthearted comedy because it does the job. It really does.
Correct.
And then we move on to Mundo versus Prince Puma in a career versus title match, and this was pretty freaking epic.
It was a hell of a thing, no question.
Long match, pretty much all the spots you want to see. A lot of interference. At one point, the entire Worldwide Underground's out there, and then the return of I believe your favorite South African wrestler,
Julio De Niro Jr.
and Helico.
Oh yeah.
They did screw it up though. He totally should have just come flying off of the office.
I should have said Charlize Theron or Charlton Copley. Those are the only two South Africans I know. Other than him.
Well, no. You
Juice 10 Gabriel.
There's another. Yeah, I was gonna say there's another South African involved in this whole angle.
He barely counts.
But yeah, and Helico clears house, chases everyone away. I would have had more faces come out just to make it a little more believable. But we did get Rick Knox doing a dive out of the ring. The referee
he
Rick
did a
Knox.
fucking tope con hilo.
I know. He landed a little shorter. No, he's normally better at that.
He
He's normally better at that. But,
well, he fucking held onto the ropes and instead of slingshotting himself, he just kind of held himself back.
Yeah. Not good. Rick Knox, make that better. But still, epic spot. Loved it.
Pee Wee Moore did it better.
Because Knox had been brought out by Taya during the match with Marty Elias down to count the pinfall and was, I guess, sick of being abused.
Yeah.
Which he's done in PWG a couple times as well. I mean, this is Super Ref Rick Knox, for those who are not familiar with him.
PWG.
For those that are not familiar with him, just review the, honestly, just everyone. Review the El Generico feud with men of low moral fiber.
I thought I told you to stay out of Reseda.
You seem to be lost, senor. where are we going? Or, well, it says in Spanish, where are we going to Excalibur? It's Reseda. And Colt Cabana's famous, gentlemen, why don't you take a seat? Bet of Lord Moral Fiber was the best use of Kenny Omega until he hit New Japan.
Correct.
Still the best use of Chuck Taylor. Anyways, moving
Chucky
on.
Taylor?
Just a really good match. You get all the spots you want to see from either of them, and Puma comes out on top to win the title in what will be the shortest title reign in Lucha Underground history. Which we knew because, again, this has been in the can for so long that unfortunately certain things are spoiled.
We got your boy Pentagon Dark, the longest reigning Lucha Underground champion of all time,
with 0 defenses.
Too bad it took him like 3 years to get the episode on the air or whatever the bullshit they're doing.
Indeed, he cashes in the Gift of the Gods title, goes in there with Puma, pretty much immediately, air quotes, breaks his arm, which I could have done without, to be honest. Because
I guess it sets up. Puma's a fucking tough-ass bastard, so they don't just ship him on down the line and...
Oh, no, I like...
his contract's done, but...
I like the arm break, but I have it later in the match, because having it so early on meant that we had to put up with basically 15, 16, 17 minutes of one-arm Puma wrestling, which is great, but it is less than what Puma can do if you just let him be Puma. Well,
I just think they were what they were trying to do was get him over as being a hard motherfucker while they knew that his career or that his contract was up. So I think they did the best by him that they could in that particular match by doing that early. If they would have done it later, you're not wrong. The match may have been a better quality, but I think they were trying to do the right thing by him rather than just kind of the overall best thing for the match.
Mm-hmm. Which I appreciate, but nonetheless, I look at the match in the overall picture. The big shock here, and we had a couple big shocks on the night, but a big shock here, in my opinion, probably the biggest one, was that Vampiro turned on Puma.
Yeah.
And pulled Pentagon out of the way of the 630, and... Matt Stryker sold that like a champ. Oh.
Yeah, Matt Stryker went to the wall on that one. Like, fuck you. I'd rather have one of these kids sit next to me, you fucking son of a bitch.
So, yeah, that was Stryker's highlight of the night. Stryker pretty much on all night. Sometimes he's not on. Like, there have been episodes where I've been like, I could do without Stryker. But tonight was not one of them.
Yeah, he does hit the over-dramatic... Just really, like, that kind of encompasses everything. Like, really just over-dramatic lines all the time that don't make a lot of sense. And he did do that a couple times tonight, but, when he's fired up, he doesn't stop to think about stuff like that. He just kind of goes for it.
I'm, like, kind of okay when it's fired up, though. It's when it's, like, the whole match that he's making those kind of statements, which, like... A case in point, look at our review of Sexy Star versus Taya in the last Luchador standing. That's a good example of negative Stryker commentary. Vampiro also awesome, dressed in a suit, which is the weirdest thing ever. Weirdest thing about the show.
Yeah, we weren't sure where the hell he was going. Like it didn't really have a payoff, which I kind of like actually. He was just wearing a black and white suit. And that's what he was wearing. And he took over, not only that, but you forgot to mention that he took over announcing duties, like, right away. He immediately, like, he did the Stryker-esque intro, and Stryker's just sitting there next to him on the table going, this is amazing.
Also, we forgot to mention the stipulation for the Pentagon Puma match was that it was career versus career, as well as title versus title to a degree. And Pentagon wins with the package pile driver, which is one of our favorite moves, I think.
I do believe so. Popularized by the Kevin Steen.
There's
also a Canadian Destroyer in there.
There was. Yeah, Puma hit the Canadian Destroyer, and Pentagon went for a Pentagon Destroyer as well, which was pretty neat. Pentagon cuts a promo at the end, has no fear, this is his temple, bye-bye Puma. Good stuff. And Vampiro heat magnet absolutely nuclear at this point.
Yeah.
So that is fantastic. Then we go into the end season barrage that we usually get. This one was pretty interesting, and I really I always wanted to see season 4 of Lucha Underground, but this made me want to see it even more because there's so much unresolved stuff.
Yeah. Either that or just don't try. I don't want some half-ass bullshit.
Oh, it has to be good. It has to be good.
I need you to either go balls deep in them huevos, or just don't. Just don't. I don't want to see, like, well, we were supposed to have these 4 guys, but we couldn't afford them, so we're gonna make do with like Ricky Mandel in a mask again.
Yeah, I don't need that. Like, I can understand how the money would, possibly change some of the plans around, but it has to be still good.
Yes.
So highlights of this. Puma leaves his mask behind. Sexy Star is signing autographs for fans, and a young girl comes up to her with a box, says she hasn't forgotten about you, and Sexy opens the box, and there's the spider, which I completely forgot that we never actually got the...
Sir, it is a Tarantula.
Tarantula. I completely forgot that we hadn't gotten a resolution to that whole storyline, to be honest. So that could lead some good places. And we also get Phoenix and Melissa just making out, going home. And I paused it. I can't figure out what it was, but there's clearly something in the back of the car that it didn't look like it was Marty the Moth, and I kind of hope it's not. Just for something fresh. But we'll
it's
see.
La Parka.
I would be down with it being La Parka. I was gonna save the La Parka reference for later, but
Do it again.
Okay. We get King Cuerno with his new trophy. Katrina just walking outside. Jeremiah Crane just staring out in the parking lot for some strange reason. Trying to get it roughly in order.
He's masturbating.
Vampiro is talking to his master again. And we were going. The master has to either be Danny Trejo.
Please be Danny Trejo. Please be Danny Trejo. Please be Danny Trejo. Please be Danny Trejo. And we didn't get the reveal.
Or La Parka.
Or La Parka, yes. We're fine with either.
That was where the La Parka came.
Or maybe, can you imagine if it's Juventud Guerrero, but he's been hitting the roids for like 3 years straight and he weighs 400 pounds of muscle?
Oh, man. I don't think Juventud Guerrero could get off the drugs long enough to do that.
You just get him on different drugs. He's like, no, this is total heroin, bro. Bro, this is total heroin. You just need some of this stuff.
You need these anabolic heroin steroids.
Yeah.
So there was that, and then the secret agent. What is he again? Is he FBI?
I never disclosed, as far as I know.
No, he did when he first appeared. He revealed he had the badge and everything. I think it was FBI.
I don't know.
But the black guy that's working with Dario Cueto comes in and has a drink with Dario. Dario says, "I'll get the gauntlet back." Nah, you get a pass on that one because you get to die. He shoots him like 2-3 times. Thanks for the drink. Business is under new management. And Dario lives long enough to dial a phone number, and it seems like it's his dad on the other end. He says, "Papa."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he says "Papa," and then some stuff. Either he mumbles it and I don't understand what he's saying, or it's in Spanish and I still don't understand.
I think it might have been "it happened."
Could be.
So, yeah, there's that. So, hey, maybe maybe this actually suggests that they intended to write Dario Cueto off, and the budget constraints wouldn't even be the reason for it.
Yeah, that's true.
And Matanzas locked in his cage, and he senses there's someone in the cage next to him. It's Rey Mysterio.
See.
And
I would like to announce. I would like to announce for the rest of the world that I have decided that Joey Ryan will now be known as Rey Mustachio.
I'm down with it.
Indeed.
I think that was all of it. Was that all of it?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. It was a damn fine last episode. It was an hour and a half of wrestling that you will enjoy. And if you don't, something kind of wrong with you in the brain.
Mm-hmm. Both Puma matches are fantastic. I think the one with Mundo was the better of the two.
Yeah.
And the three-way match also epic. Unless you're squeamish.
Yeah, if you're squeamish, you're fucked. I mean, just sit at home and don't turn it on.
And the cage match is there, and it's fine. Couple of
nobody pulled out a cheese grater, or a fork, or like a pizza cutter. So I mean, you're good there.
Yeah, it's not a Dudley Boys theme.
But I mean, if dude definitely got his skull impaled by fucking wood. So there you are.
Indeed. So that leads us to just telling you about what we got coming. Mike versus Byron is delayed a little bit because I've been busy catching up on another project of mine, specifically involving racing.
Marijuana.
Not marijuana. I don't do that anymore.
I didn't say do it. I thought you were growing it.
I can't grow it. I have nowhere to grow it. I would, but no.
Please.
Hey, it's getting legalized.
That's true. Well, we'll see anyway.
So we'll be that'll be a little delayed, probably into next week, and then on Saturday we're gonna do our WWE recap, and it's been an interesting fucking week in WWE. Holy shit!
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot. I mean,
only like maybe a third of it's going on in the ring.
Yeah, the shows were actually good. I enjoyed Raw and SmackDown for like the first time simultaneously in ages.
I'm gonna have to marathon this shit, aren't I?
And a lot of out there news and some clarifications on the Neville stuff, and fucking hell of a week.
It's gonna be interesting because if. So, just a brief recap, and we'll get into this more detail on the next podcast. So, Austin Aries after SummerSlam was like, "Fuck this, fuck you, and fuck everything you ever heard of," and took his ball and went home, got his release. Apparently, for the next 6 weeks, he will make more money than he ever would wrestling 4 months in the WWE. Neville sees this and goes, "Well, that's fucking stupid." Also, reports are that he's been miserable since fucking January. And kind of took his, and there's conflicting reports there too. Did he walk out of Raw on the 9th, or was he not even there? There's two different
I think
reports.
we've largely established that he wasn't even there. I think is the commonly believed report.
So, basically...
But I think that would suggest that he was supposed to be there because they did want to do him versus Enzo.
Yeah,
and that's been confirmed by WWE itself. So yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot going on there. So Neville takes his ball and pretty much goes home. And then the week after that, we hear that Nia Jax has essentially done the same thing, but not really. So mitigating circumstances are that apparently she's totally worn out and needed some personal time.
There's also the meningitis scare in the back, and the fact that she's The Rock's cousin.
I'm not even going in there yet. Yeah, so she's The Rock's cousin. Apparently, she just wants a lot more money, and she wants writers to be coherent. Oh my god, what a concept!
Yeah, her storyline is the most messed up thing in the company.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can go into depth on a lot of different storylines, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And so, with those three precedents, also. Reports just in today that Kevin Steen has gone home from the South American tour for personal reasons. So, I assume that Kevin Steen's just really, this is legit, just like personal, I need to go home to my family. But
yeah, because he's kind of actually he's in a good spot, actually.
Exactly. So, but if like fantasy release booking warfare, if Austin Aries left and Neville, your champ, left, let's be honest, he was a real champ. And then Nia Jax, the uncrowned women's champ, leaves, and then Kevin Owens, your top heel, period, end of story, leaves. This is like just out there booking. in real life booking, not wrestling booking. If all of those people leave, and you've got viral meningitis apparently running rampant throughout your Raw roster, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck is left to do anything on? And to follow that up, apparently TLC is, instead of being total dog shit, is looking kind of awesome now.
It was looking good beforehand. It looks better now.
Yeah, so we're going to touch on all of that stuff on the next episode, and be sure you tune in, or otherwise, I mean, you're obviously just a mental degenerate, and not the good kind like we want.
Not the good kind like we want. Yeah. So, well, here's everyone. Cross your fingers, say your prayers, and hope to God we get Lucha. Hope the hell we get Lucha Underground season 4.
I'm just going to stick to the fermented grape juice myself.
Also, I'm going to start watching some Impact Wrestling because they got Stephan Bonner on there. And,
you're going to watch it without me? Is that what this is?
Well, I mean, if you want to join me.
I might.
But
we should just do only Impact and New Japan and Lucha Underground.
But kind of intrigued. Dan Lambert's growing on me. I didn't really think I would enjoy the ATT versus Impact feud, but Dan Lambert makes it worthwhile. Like a non-wrestling personality who can cut a promo.
Correct.
So yeah, we'll check that out maybe, and everyone enjoy your night. Say your prayers for Lucha Underground, and get off Byron's lawn.
No, they can stay if they bring beer.
Well, I mean, if they start a prayer circle for Lucha Underground, maybe, I don't know.
No, don't give me. Well, okay, hold on. If it's a voodoo prayer circle, then we're talking about some stuff.
Well, I mean, voodoo or Satanism. I mean, what? You thought I was going with Christianity here?
Well, yeah, you kind of one of those weirdo religious fundamentalists, right?
That could not be further from the truth.
Listen, voodoo or Thor worship, either way, you can stay on my lawn, but bring me alcohol as tribute.
Anyways, that's all for today.